My name is Derek. I was 44 years old when I married Monica. People congratulated me as if I had won something. You're getting an instant family. 2 boys already grown enough to help around the house. You'll never have to start from scratch. I smiled every time I heard it. They had no idea how wrong they were. Monica had 2 sons from her first marriage. Liam was 11 when I met him. Caleb had just turned 9. They were quiet boys at first, still trying to understand why another man had appeared beside their mother. I never tried to replace their father. I never asked them to call me Dad. I told myself that respect couldn't be forced. It had to grow naturally, the same way trust grows, one ordinary day after another. So I focused on actions instead of words. I'm an engineer. My work has always been about solving problems. You look at what isn't working, you fix it, and then you move on to the next challenge. I treated family the same way. If something needed to be done, I simply did it. Every morning I woke before everyone else. Coffee. Breakfast. Lunch is packed. By the time Monica and the boys came downstairs, food was already waiting on the table. After work I stopped at the grocery store because someone had to remember that milk doesn't magically appear in the refrigerator, and that toilet paper doesn't replace itself. I cooked dinner every evening. Not because Monica demanded it. Because I wanted our home to feel like a home. After dinner I washed the dishes while everyone disappeared into their own routines. Then I vacuumed. Folded laundry. Scrubbed bathrooms. Took out the trash. Paid the utility bills. Scheduled repairs. Changed air filters. Mowed the lawn. Fixed broken cabinets. Replaced leaking faucets. The list never ended. Neither did I. People think providing for a family is just earning money. It isn't. Money is the easiest part. The invisible work is what exhausts you. Remembering everything. Planning everything. Making sure everyone else can live comfortably without ever thinking about what keeps the house running. That became my life. I never complained. Not once. Whenever Monica thanked me, I'd shrug. We're a team, I'd tell her. I don't mind. And I truly didn't. At least not then. The boys grew older. Liam became taller than his mother before high school. Caleb developed the confidence that teenage boys often mistake for maturity. I kept hoping that as they grew older, they'd begin noticing everything that happened around them. Instead, the opposite happened. The more I did, the less they seemed to see. Dinner appeared because dinner always appeared. Clean clothes magically waited in their rooms. The refrigerator somehow stayed full. The bathroom somehow stayed clean. Their favorite snacks somehow arrived every week. They never asked how. They never wondered who. It simply became normal. Invisible. Sometimes I'd spend 3 hours cooking on a Sunday. Roast chicken. Mashed potatoes. Fresh bread. Dessert. Liam would grab a plate, eat in 10 minutes, leave it on the table, and disappear upstairs without saying a single word. Caleb wasn't much different. If I asked him to carry his dish to the sink, he'd sigh like I'd interrupted something important. Teenagers, I told myself. It's a phase. It'll pass. But respect doesn't disappear overnight. It erodes. Slowly. One ignored request. One dismissive answer. One eye roll at a time. I started noticing that whenever I asked either of them to do something simple. Take the trash outside. Pick your shoes up. Help your mother with the groceries. They never answered me directly. Instead, they'd look at Monica, as if waiting to see whether she agreed. If she repeated my request, they'd do it. If she stayed silent, they ignored me completely. At first I laughed it off. Then I stopped laughing. One evening I asked Liam to put his phone away during dinner. He never looked up. I'm serious. Nothing. Monica cleared her throat. Liam. Only then did he lower the phone. Not because I had spoken. Because she had. That moment stayed with me longer than it should have. It wasn't about the phone. It was about what it revealed. My words had no weight inside my own house. I mentioned it to Monica later that night. I think the boys should listen when I ask them something. She looked tired. They're teenagers, Derek. I know. They'll grow out of it. They don't listen to me. They listen. They listen to you. She sighed. Don't make this into something bigger. Maybe I should have insisted. Maybe I should have recognized the warning signs. Instead, I kept cooking, kept cleaning, kept shopping, kept carrying the household on my shoulders. Because I believed consistency eventually earns respect. I was wrong. It happened on a Tuesday evening. Nothing unusual. I'd finished work. Stopped for groceries. Cooked spaghetti from scratch because Caleb had mentioned the week before that it was his favorite. We sat down together. Halfway through dinner, Liam started mocking Caleb over something that had happened at school. The teasing became cruel. Caleb fired back. Within seconds they were shouting across the table. I waited. Expected them to calm down. They didn't. Finally I spoke. Enough. Neither looked at me. I said enough? Liam laughed. Caleb rolled his eyes. I kept my voice calm. You don't speak to each other like that. Liam leaned back in his chair. For the first time, he looked directly at me. There wasn't anger in his face. There wasn't even frustration. Just complete dismissal. Then he said the sentence that changed everything. Nobody cares what you think. Silence swallowed the room. I looked at Caleb. He smirked. Then nodded. Yeah. Nobody cared what I thought. I turned slowly toward Monica. I wasn't asking her to choose between me and her sons. I was asking for one sentence. One. That's enough. You don't talk to Derek that way. Anything. She looked uncomfortable. Then she folded her arms. Derek. Her voice was soft. They're my sons. I know. You don't get to tell them what to do. I stared at her. For a long time. Years of cooking, cleaning, shopping, paying bills, holding the house together. Reduced to one sentence. You don't get to tell them what to do. No one raised their voice after that. No plates slammed. No dramatic exit. I simply finished my dinner, washed my own plate, walked upstairs, closed the bedroom door. And for the first time since I married Monica, I stopped trying to save a family that had already decided I wasn't part of it. The next morning, I woke before dawn out of habit. For years, my body had learned the schedule better than my mind. 5:30. Feet on the floor. Coffee first. Then eggs, toast, lunches, the quiet machinery of a house that believed itself alive without ever asking who turned the gears. I stood in the kitchen doorway. The room waited for me. I did nothing. I made 1 cup of coffee. For myself. No bacon in the pan. No pancakes for Caleb. No oatmeal for Monica. No lunch bags lined up like small offerings on the counter. Just coffee. Black. Silent. When Monica came downstairs, she paused. You're not cooking? I looked at her over the rim of my mug. No. She waited for more. There was no more. Liam came down next, already irritated, backpack hanging from one shoulder. He opened the refrigerator, stared inside, then looked at me. Where's breakfast? In the kitchen. He frowned. There's nothing made. Then make something. His face changed, not with anger yet, but confusion. The kind people feel when a machine refuses to work. Caleb appeared behind him. Are you serious? I rinsed my mug. Completely. Monica followed me with her eyes as I walked past them and picked up my keys. Derek, don't start this. I stopped at the door. I'm not starting anything. Then I left. At work, I performed calculations, reviewed plans, answered emails, and felt something strange spreading through me. Not joy. Not revenge. Space. For years, my mind had carried grocery lists between design meetings. dinner plans while reviewing structural loads, laundry cycles while drafting reports. I had lived two lives at once, engineer by day, invisible servant by night. That evening, I drove straight home. No grocery store. No pharmacy. No stop for Caleb's favorite cereal or Liam's protein drinks or Monica's shampoo. Home. The house looked normal from outside. Inside, the air had shifted. The sink was full. Shoes lay in the hallway. A cereal box sat open on the counter, its torn plastic spilling crumbs like evidence. Monica was standing at the stove, staring at a pan as if it had insulted her. "What are we doing for dinner?" she asked. "I already ate." That was a lie. I hadn't. But I had bought a sandwich on the way home and eaten it alone in my truck, parked under a dying street lamp, tasting freedom wrapped in cheap bread. Liam turned from the couch. "You ate without us?" "Yes." Caleb laughed once, sharp and ugly. "So now you're punishing us?" I hung my coat in the closet. "No. I'm taking care of myself." Monica's voice hardened. "This is childish." I looked at her then. Really looked. At the woman who had watched her son strip me down to nothing at my own dinner table, then told me I had no right to speak. "Childish," I said quietly, "is believing food appears because you deserve it." No one answered. That first night, they ordered pizza. The second morning, nobody had clean bowls. By the second evening, Monica had gone shopping and come back angry, dragging bags through the door with Caleb behind her, complaining that she bought the wrong snacks. I watched from the living room. I did not help. Old instinct pulled at me like a chain. Get up. Carry the bags. Put the milk away. Fold the reusable bags and place them in the pantry. I stayed seated. Monica slammed a cabinet. "Are you really just going to sit there?" "Yes." "You live here too." "I clean up after myself." "This is your family." I looked around at the dishes, the laundry basket overflowing near the stairs, the trash packed so tight the lid couldn't close. "No," I said. "This is the house I maintained." The third day broke them. It happened slowly, then all at once. Liam needed his soccer uniform. It was dirty. Caleb couldn't find his black jeans. They were wet in the washer because someone had started a load and forgotten it. Monica burned dinner. Not badly. Just enough for smoke to crawl through the kitchen and set off the alarm. The sound screamed through the house while everyone shouted over it. I opened a window. That was all. Liam cursed. Caleb blamed Monica. Monica blamed me. And I stood there beneath that shrieking alarm, watching the kingdom I had held together collapse under the weight of ordinary chores. 3 days. That was all it took. 3 days without me, and the house became hostile terrain. The refrigerator emptied. The counters disappeared under crumbs and wrappers. The laundry turned sour. Arguments replaced meals. Accusations replaced routine. And in the middle of it all, they looked at me with disbelief, as if I had hidden the sun. That was when I understood the truth. It had never been about money. Money mattered, yes. But money was clean. Countable. Visible. This was something worse. They had stopped seeing effort once it became reliable. They had mistaken my love for plumbing. Something behind the walls. Expected. Unnoticed. Only remembered when it failed. That night, Monica came into the bedroom while I was reading. She stood near the doorway, arms crossed. "The boys think you're being cruel." I turned a page. "Of course they do. They feel like you're abandoning them." I looked up. "No. I'm letting them meet the life I've been protecting them from." Her mouth tightened. "You want them to beg?" "No." "What do you want, Derek?" The question should have been simple. It wasn't. I wanted the years back. I wanted one dinner where someone said thank you without being prompted. I wanted Monica to have defended me before I became a stranger beside her. I wanted Liam and Caleb to understand that I had not entered their lives to steal a father's chair, but to keep the roof from falling on their heads. I wanted to be seen before I had to disappear. But wanting is a humiliating thing when no one cares enough to notice. So I closed the book. I want respect. Monica looked away. That told me everything. The house stayed quiet for a moment. Then downstairs, something crashed. Caleb shouted Liam's name. Liam shouted back. Monica flinched, waiting for me to rise, waiting for the old Derek to come down and restore order. I didn't move. For the first time in years, I let the noise belong to someone else. By the end of that week, Monica changed tactics. At first, she tried anger. Doors closed harder. Cabinets slammed. Her answers became short, clipped, poisonous little things tossed across rooms. Then came silence. Not peaceful silence. Punishing silence. The kind meant to make a man feel the walls shrinking around him. I had lived with machines most of my adult life. I knew the difference between a system under stress and a system beginning to fail. Our house was failing. Not because I had broken it, but because I had stopped hiding the cracks. Monica noticed other people noticing. Her sister called one afternoon. I heard Monica in the kitchen, voice low and wounded. "Derek's changed," she said. "He's barely helping anymore. He just stopped doing everything. It's like he's punishing the boys." I stood in the hallway with my hand on the railing, listening. Not because I wanted to spy. Because for years I had been discussed as labor, not as a man. There was a pause. Then Monica's voice sharpened. "No, you don't understand. He's being selfish." Another pause. Longer this time. When she spoke again, the confidence had thinned. "Well, yes, he used to do most of that, but that isn't the point." I almost laughed. Used to. As if years of meals, groceries, bills, laundry, repairs, cleaning, and quiet endurance could be folded into two careless words. Used to. That evening, her brother Mark stopped by. Mark was a blunt man, the kind who disliked drama unless he could end it quickly. He found me in the garage, checking the oil in my car. "Monica says you're on strike." I wiped my hands with a rag. "That's one word for it. What's yours?" I looked past him toward the house, where Liam and Caleb were arguing over whose turn it was to wash dishes. Awake. Mark studied me. Then he nodded once. "About time." That surprised me. He leaned against the workbench. "Derek, everybody knows. You think we didn't see? Every holiday, you were in the kitchen while everyone else sat down. Every barbecue you cooked, cleaned, paid, smiled. Those boys barely looked at you unless they needed something." I said nothing. He lowered his voice. "My sister got comfortable." Those words landed harder than comfort should have allowed. Comfortable. Yes. That was what I had built. A comfort so complete they forgot it had a cost. Over the next few days, Monica tried to gather sympathy and found less of it than she expected. Her mother told her that a husband was not a servant. A neighbor asked why the boys, nearly grown, couldn't cook basic meals. Even one of Liam's friend's parents said gently that maybe the house had depended too much on me. Monica hated that. Truth is unbearable when it refuses to stay private. She came home from those conversations quieter than before. Not sorry. Not yet. Just cornered. The boys felt it too. Their arrogance lost its shine. Liam still avoided me, but his insults stopped. Caleb watched me sometimes with a strange expression, half resentment, half calculation, as if he were adding up years he had never counted before. It was Caleb who broke first. A rainy Thursday. I was in the garage sorting tools. The rain tapped softly against the roof, steady and cold. He appeared in the doorway. For a while, he just stood there. "Do you need something?" I asked. He shook his head. Then nodded. Then shook his head again. Teenage pride is a pathetic armor when it starts to crack. Finally he stepped inside. I didn't know. I kept my hands on the toolbox. "Didn't know what?" He swallowed. "How much you did." There it was. Small. Late. but real enough to make the room feel different. He looked down at the concrete floor. I don't know. I thought stuff just got done. Mom handled some things. You handled some things. I didn't really think about it. No, I said. You didn't. His face tightened. I heard Aunt Rachel talking to Mom. She said you cooked almost every night for years. That you paid for a bunch of stuff Dad never helped with. He still called the other man Dad. I noticed. Of course I noticed. But I let it pass. Caleb rubbed his palms against his jeans. When you stopped, everything got bad fast. Yes. I guess that means it was you keeping it from getting bad. The sentence hung between us like a fragile bridge. I wanted to cross it. I also wanted to burn it. That is the ugly truth about being hurt by a child you helped raise. Part of you still sees the little boy who once needed his shoes tied. Another part sees the young man who laughed while you were being erased. Both are real. Both hurt. Caleb looked at me then. I'm sorry for what I said. You agreed with Liam. I know. You smirked. His eyes dropped. I know. And when your mother said I had no right to tell you what to do, you let her. His voice went thin. I know. I closed the toolbox. Then understand this. I didn't stop because of chores. I stopped because I finally understood my place in this house. He looked up. What place? The useful one. Not the respected one. His mouth opened, but nothing came out. Good. Some truths need silence around them. A few nights later, Liam came to me. Not in the garage. Not privately at first. He found me at the kitchen table while Monica washed dishes and Caleb dried them. That sight alone would have seemed impossible a month earlier. Liam stood across from me, shoulders stiff. I owe you an apology. I waited. He hated waiting. That made it necessary. What I said was wrong. Which part? His jaw tightened. Nobody cares what you think. The words returned to the room, colder this time. Monica stopped washing. Caleb stopped moving. I didn't look away from Liam. Did you mean it? He breathed out slowly. At the time, yeah? Brutal. Better than a lie. And now? Now I think I was stupid. Stupid as forgetting homework. What you were was cruel. He flinched. I let him. I know, he said. I took things for granted. We both did. I didn't think about dinner or groceries or laundry or any of it. I just thought, that's what adults do. Adults get tired too. His eyes reddened, though he fought it. I know that now. Monica turned toward me, dishwater dripping from her hands, but she said nothing. At last. Nothing. The apology did not heal me. People like to believe apologies are keys. They are not. Sometimes they are only receipts, proof that damage was delivered and finally acknowledged. Still, I nodded. I hear you. Liam looked disappointed. Maybe he expected forgiveness to arrive fully dressed and smiling. It didn't. But he stayed at the table. That was something. The house changed after that. Not beautifully. Not all at once. But honestly. And honest things are rarely pretty. The apologies came, but I did not mistake them for repair. That is where people misunderstand men like me. They think once the words are spoken, once the boys lower their eyes and admit they were wrong, the old machinery should start again. The stove should light. The laundry should fold itself through my hands. The grocery list should return to my pocket. The servant should forgive because the family has decided it is tired of discomfort. But I was not a switch. I was a man. And something in me had burned out. A week after Liam apologized, Monica approached me in the kitchen. Caleb was wiping the counter. Liam was taking trash bags from the can without being asked. Small miracles, if I had still believed in them. Monica watched them, then turned to me. Things are better now. I looked at her. Are they? Her mouth tightened. They're trying. They are. So maybe we can stop this. There it was. Not forgiveness. Not understanding. A request for the old arrangement to return wearing new clothes. I set my glass in the sink. No. Her face changed. Derek. No. You're being unfair. The word almost made me laugh. Unfair. I had spent years making sure her sons had warm meals, clean clothes, full cabinets, rides when they needed them, repaired bikes, paid fees, working phones, stable mornings, and quiet evenings. But the first time I kept my hands to myself, I became unfair. I leaned against the counter. I will not go back to carrying this house alone. No one is asking you to carry it alone. You are. She looked toward the boys, as if hoping they might rescue her from the truth. They did not. Good. I continued. I'll cook when I choose to cook. I'll shop for what I need. I'll clean my mess. I'll help with shared things when shared respect exists. But I am done being the invisible engine of this family. Monica crossed her arms. They apologized. Yes. So what else do you want? I felt the old wound open again, not bleeding, just pulsing. I want you to understand that the deepest cut didn't come from them. She went still. It came from you. Her eyes flashed. I didn't say those words. No. You did something worse. You let them stand. Silence. Caleb stopped wiping. Liam froze with the trash bag in his hand. I did not spare them. Children can be cruel. Teenagers can be arrogant. But a wife knows. A wife sees the man who wakes early, comes home tired, cooks anyway, cleans anyway, pays anyway. A wife knows when her husband is being reduced to a tool. And that night, when they told me nobody cared what I thought, you confirmed it. Monica's face strained. I was trying not to make it worse. You made it permanent. The words landed hard. I saw them hit her. For once, I did not soften them. That night I slept in the guest room. Not because I wanted drama. Because I needed distance from the woman who had mistaken my endurance for consent. The days that followed became a new kind of life. Not peaceful. Not broken either. Something colder. More honest. We made a schedule. Actual paper on the refrigerator. Meals rotated. Laundry belonged to the person wearing the clothes. Bathrooms had names assigned to them. Trash days were written in black marker. Groceries became a list everyone contributed to and everyone helped carry inside. The first week was clumsy. Liam ruined rice. Caleb turned white socks pink. Monica forgot detergent and blamed the store. No one died. That mattered. They learned what I had known for years. A home is not a feeling. It is labor repeated until people call it love. Caleb changed first. He began asking questions. How do you know when chicken is done? What setting do I use for towels? Where do you keep the spare batteries? Not warm questions. Practical ones. But respect often begins as attention. Liam took longer. Pride clung to him like smoke. Still, one evening, I came home and found him mowing the lawn, awkward and sweaty, jaw set in stubborn concentration. He saw me watching. What? Nothing. You always did this. Most weeks. He looked across the yard, suddenly aware of its size. It sucks. Yes. He nodded once. That was all. But sometimes one honest nod weighs more than 10 apologies. Monica remained the hardest part. She wanted the house repaired without admitting she had helped break it. She wanted laughter back. Easy dinners. My hand on the small of her back as I passed behind her. Normal things. But normal had been built on my silence. I could not live there again. One evening, she sat across from me after the boys had gone upstairs. I miss us, she said. I looked at the table between us. I had built meals on that table. Birthday cakes. Holiday platters. Late-night cups of tea when she worried about the boys. I had believed every dish placed there was another brick in the family I was building. Now it looked like a witness stand. I miss who I thought we were, I said. Her eyes filled. Can we fix it? I don't know. That was the truth. Cruel, maybe, but true. I love you, she whispered. I closed my eyes. Love. That word had done so much damage in my life. It had been used to ask for patience, excuse disrespect, demand sacrifice, and cover neglect with a soft blanket. When I opened my eyes, I was tired down to the bone. Love without respect becomes labor, she cried then. Quietly. I let her. Not because I wanted her pain. Because I had spent too many years interrupting everyone else's consequences. Months passed. The boys did better. Not perfectly. Liam still snapped sometimes, but he caught himself. Caleb started cooking one dinner a week. Monica stopped correcting my tone before correcting their disrespect. Slowly, they learned that my presence was not guaranteed by my marriage certificate. I stayed. But I stayed differently. I kept a relationship with Liam and Caleb, not as their unpaid caretaker, not as the man who swallowed every insult for the privilege of feeding them, but as Derek. A man. A husband, perhaps. A stepfather, only if that word carried weight. I helped when they asked with respect. I stepped back when they didn't. And the world did not end. Sometimes Caleb thanked me now. Awkwardly. Quietly. Sometimes Liam asked what I thought before making a decision. Those moments should have healed me. They didn't. They only reminded me how little I had asked for in the first place. I gave years of my life hoping sacrifice would be enough to earn a place in that family. It wasn't. Sacrifice without boundaries teaches people how to use you. So I drew mine. Was I wrong?